Every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He is a founder as well as a CEO, no other than Mr. Rush Eby.
Yes, sir. Very nice to meet you, Dana.
Welcome, Mr. Rush on our podcast. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Absolutely. Well, like you said, my name is Rush Eby. I've been in the digital marketing space, specifically search engine optimization, and now generative engine optimization, or in other words, ranking in LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., for a little over a decade, I guess close to 12 years now. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. This is where I'm based, but I kind of ping pong between here and Los Angeles, where I've got a couple of offices out there that I work out of, and some brands I consult with, some agencies I consult with. Um, I feel like most like a lot of people nowadays who are in my field, it's difficult to find anybody who's doing just one thing. Because I'm an internet kid at the end of the day. I'm not the oldest fella, but I cut my teeth building WordPress sites and testing different kind of SEO schemes back in the day. You know, trying to sell different products, um, trying to game the system for all intents and purposes. And then over time, I've kind of realized, okay, you can take one or two routes. You can take the shortcut route and get some nice big wins, but not have them be consistent, or I can really focus in on what actually works at a base level on the marketing side and pretty much do everything white hat. Um, White hat, obviously, meaning just within Google's terms of service and very sustainable in terms of tactics. That's where my energy has gone. And then I've been working in agency um, in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York for the past decade as well, just to get a lot more visibility and boots on the ground experience with larger brands like Uber, Airbnb, Lyft. Recess Pickleball is a little bit of a smaller one, but Amazon, Devani Group, all of these different brands that I've gotten to get some firsthand experience working with, and ultimately start to direct some of their strategy and tactics towards growing. So that's been my bent for, like I said, a little over a decade. Really focused on the SEO side, and then the reason we're chatting today is because of the shift from people searching online in Google, Bing, etc., to now being able to pull up their phone, search on ChatGPT, and get one answer when they search to solve a problem on their end.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Ross. Thank you. So today let's talk about this is what GEO or Generative Engine Optimization really about. The acronym stands for that. So but let's start with your definition. When you say this, what is GEO is really about? What is the fundamental human or planetary need to address and get this lost in the technical terminology?
Basically, the way I like to chat with brands that I'm consulting or brands that are just interested in GEO is GEO is just the act of making sure that your brand is readable and clear to large language models that are going to be using it to help serve their clientele, right? So Google is a company that has a specific mission, which is to index the internet, obviously index the world in terms of the internet, and then serve the people who uh, use their platform to get them exactly what they want, right? And so back in the day, the game plan used to be, back before the Penguin update and all this good stuff. The game plan would be keyword stuffing, shady tricks to try to, let's just say you've got a website and you've got a bunch of you've got white pages, and then you've got white text on those white pages, and you're just keyword stuffing, trying to trick the the algorithm into serving you for number one for a term like NFL jerseys, or a term like best digital marketing agency, or whatever it is. It was a lot of gaming the system, and SEO's got a lot of bad reputation for just trying to, like I said, game the system. Um, then over time, Google has gotten better and better at being able to play kind of whack-a-mole or get rid of the tactics that are gaming the system and not actually helping the brand grow in general. Google is very invested in making sure that the ecosystem that they've built and that they've protected stays clean and best for the users. And there are two types of folk like me. They're the people who really care about the brand growing that they're working with, or the company that they're working with growing in a sustainable way. And then everyone else who's just trying to game the system and get a quick win. My flow and the way I prioritize the work I do is based on one, understanding the brand that I'm working with, understanding exactly what the unique selling point is, what their positioning is in their market, and exactly what the unit economics are behind their actual business. So I can understand how to best communicate that to Google, and then now how to communicate it to large language models. The nice thing about large language models is that it's very simple for them to crawl a website and come up with an assumption about that website. Back in the day, it used to be all about structuring the schema or the internal technical components of your website so you can get a little bit of a lift compared to the competition, because a lot of people might have a nice clean looking website but ultimately it doesn't communicate well. The nice thing about LLMs is that they can kind of crawl your website more like an assistant or a person, right? And so when they're going through your website and they're looking for clues as to what you do, where they should position you in the market, they can look not just at your website, but also look at all the links that are connected to your website, right? So the long and short of it, as far as kind of the scope of work that I do for brands, is that I work with content. So developing net new content and expanding existing content on websites to help them be better readable. Then there's the technical side. The nice thing about all the new CMSs or website builders or whatever you want to call it nowadays is that the technical component is not nearly as big of a focus as it used to be. Every site used to be an absolute mess. It was really difficult to work within website builders, like even WordPress for most people. But now you've got Wix and Squarespace, Magento, Webflow, Framer, all this good stuff. And it makes it a lot easier for people to work within their own website and optimize the technical side. So we spend a lot less time working on the technical components and more so working on the content and positioning. And then that third piece outside of technical and content is backlinks. Now, backlinks is kind of like a dirty word in the space because people feel like they're scammy. People feel like they're just all part of private blog networks and they're just there to game the system. But the reality is, a backlink is just a link from another publication to your website, and Google views those as kind of like votes, right? So you, Daniel, if you were friends with Brad Pitt, your social credit would go up, right? Same thing works with a website. If I've got a link from Forbes to my website, then my web credit goes up, right? And so what I've spent the past decade slowly chipping away at is developing hundreds and hundreds of relationships with publishers that are actual websites with actual content and high domain rating or authority associated with their site, building those relationships so that we can develop content and have that content placed on these other websites. So an example of how that looks in practice is, say you're a pickleball company and I'm working with you and you say, I want to rank number one for pickleball paddles, right? Because we're a pickleball company and we sell pickleball paddles. One, you're not really going to be able to add that much more content to your site about pickleball paddles. It's pretty straightforward, right? But what you can do is you can get links from publications that are sports blogs, recreation blogs, as an example, even other websites that are top 10 best of listicle articles. You can get these links and have them point back to your collections page or to your website, and have the link that's pointing back be pickleball paddles. It literally says pickleball paddles, and in Google's mind, as well as LLMs, that's going to be a great ranking signal to help them understand not only what your brand is about and why that page exists, but it's going to be another added vote of confidence to that page so that you can rank higher in Google search and now ultimately LLMs. So the big shift that we're seeing is that a lot of brands who have over time really focused on just arbitrary building out content for years and years, uh, just kind of low value, just kind of base level content. They're all switching from a content play of just tons of content down to very fact dense, very machine readable, simple content, and then spending more time on publication placements, backlinks, all this good stuff, uh, because there's not nearly as much of a way to game the system as there used to be. So what I do is I work with brands to understand exactly what strategy they need to employ or deploy, I should say, to rank really well for specific terms. If you're the pickleball company, you want to rank for pickleball paddles, I can do that. And the price associated with that scope is always based on where you are currently as a website. If you're brand new, it's going to be a longer road. If you've been around for a good bit and you've got some authority online, then it's going to be easier to rank for those terms. But that's the kind of the long and short of it.
Interesting, interesting, Mr. Ross. So many see a GEO as a passive tool for taking pictures from space. How do you refrain it as an active, dynamic nervous system for our planet? And what does just observe but informs enables response? Is it?
I think that might be that might be associated with the GIS or geospatial. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's a different
Topic.
vein of that. The interesting thing about where we're at right now is that GEO seems to be what a lot of people are planting their flag in as to what to call this thing. But
Mm-hmm.
AIO, I think, makes a little bit more sense. So AI optimization, as an example, right now because it's so new and people are still learning about it, people are calling it LLMO, AIO, GEO. There's a lot of different names floating around, but the easiest way to think about it is you've got SEO that helps you rank and be seen in search engines, in GEO or IAO or whatever you want to call it. That's helping you get ranked and seen in LLMs.
Well, interesting, interesting, Mr. Ross. So tell us, what is your vision and mission to make this GEO well known to the world?
Great question. Long story short, from my side, I see brands as being and more specifically entrepreneurs, as being not only a group of individuals that I consider myself a part of, but also the type of people that I think are going to ultimately change the world. I love free enterprise. I love the ability to be able to be flexible and be able to come up with a concept, and specifically serve pain points for people across the world. I've always enjoyed working with brands. I've always enjoyed building my own brands and everything that goes into that. But the number one reason that I'm in this space in general is because when you work with brands to help clarify their mission and clarify their ideal targeting for customers or whoever it is, or even just their mission in general, one, it's not only very uh, very um, fulfilling at kind of a deep level. It's also just very engaging and very enjoyable to do as far as the actual scope of work that we're working towards, right? Uh, in terms of me getting in front of the right people, and this is something I'm working towards, you can tell from my website that I've spent very little time actually curating my own digital environment. It's something that I'm working on nowadays more than ever, is to start chipping away at actually putting myself out there and chatting with folks who are interested in this space and kind of planting my flag, whether it's on LinkedIn or other publications or like we're doing right now, being on podcasts. All I want is for people who are interested in optimizing their brands for LLMs, for them not to make the wrong decisions that so many brands made when SEO was kind of getting hot back in the day. A lot of brands will make decisions right now to bulletproof themselves for the future of search and user behavior. And those decisions will end up costing them months and months and months of time down the road, having to untangle the mess they make. Because they're going to listen to people on LinkedIn, they're going to listen to people they see online or on Instagram or whatever the thing is, and think that they've got the next right move. And oh man, if we just add this or do this, we're going to be able to have a nice big boom on from a business standpoint. I like to save people that time and let them know what's worth their time and what's not worth their time. I always tell people, you don't pay me for my time, you pay me for the time I'm saving you, because it's so easy to make the wrong moves right now, thinking that you're going to help yourself rank well and have visibility in ChatGPT and other LLMs, and then ultimately look back at it and say, wow, I not only wasted a bunch of time, but I wasted a lot of money working with consultants who ultimately didn't understand how my business works. And
Hmm.
so that was a long-winded answer, but I just really have a heart for entrepreneurs and have a heart for solving problems.
Well, good luck to your goals or mission, Mr. Ross. So, traditional SEO relies heavily on backlinks as a vote of credibility. In GEO landscape, what are the emerging signals of authority that AI models like ChatGPT or Gemini might prioritize?
Great question. One, backlinks is still a huge leader here. A good example of that is one of the brands that we worked with in the past and still consult with is grocery delivery services. Grocery delivery service owns is the holding company for HelloFresh, Factor 75, Green Chef, and Every Plate. These are all meal kit delivery services in the U.S. They're pretty large, right? They came to us and they said we want to rank number one for best meal kit delivery service, right? And this was in ChatGPT. I said, okay, cool, that makes a lot of sense. The best way for us to do that isn't to, like I said before, build a bunch of content talking about how great we are. The best thing to do is to have a bunch of listicle placements all over the web. These are top 10 best of articles all over the web that point back to your website that pretty much say, hey, we're number one, right? Very, very simple. A lot of people want it to be a little bit more complicated than this. It is pretty much this simple. If you are getting listicle placements and consistently pushing towards getting really valuable publication placements, those are all going to be signals for LLMs and, of course, Google to say you deserve to rank number one or in the top three of the conversation for specific pain points. So backlinks are still an absolute massive piece, but where people mess up is they think they can go to Fiverr or somewhere else and grab really cheap links. The number one thing that any brand who's looking at evaluating getting publication placements or backlinks right now, the number one thing they need to be asking themselves is the link I'm getting or the publication I'm getting placed in, is it niche specific to what I do? So is it actually relevant to my customer base and my business? And two, does it already itself have high authority and is not scammy or spammy, right? If you answer those questions and you get the yes on both of them, it's in niche and it's not a spammy link type, then that's going to help your business in terms of authority. As far as other types of authority to build associated with your site, the backlinks are really the best way to build authority. The best way to structure your existing site or business, if you have an online presence, instead of just focusing on links, is really pruning your existing content and making sure that instead of talking about story and kind of more fluffy ephemeral aspects of your business, you really get fact dense with your copy, and you expand your FAQs, you talk to your customer like you're in the room with them, and you write the exact way you want the pain point to be solved when you're working with your ideal customer. That is the adjustment from a content standpoint. Oh, I think you're muted.
A major concern for creators is attribution and traffic. If an AI provides a perfect answer source from your work without a click, what are the ethical or practical models for ensuring creators are recognized and compensated?
Very good question. That's the hard question right now that everyone's kind of nervous about. Is that if someone goes and searches a pain point or best pickleball paddles or anything like that online or on ChatGPT, are they going to be completely left out of the conversation? A good example of that is Gemini with AI overviews. If you search something on Google, now we have AI overviews, and oftentimes the websites that have contributed to the information that the AI overview is citing aren't even getting clicked on because the answer to the person who's searching question is answered in that AI overview. So people have created and built whole livelihoods around blogs answering specific questions for specific types of people are just not even getting clicks anymore. The hard thing is that from my side, it's a little bit of a situation where there's not much you can do. From our side, Google is going to hold that black box, and therefore so are all the LLMs who are using Google's data sets to to aggregate the information that they push out. So the long story short of it, from our side, is from an ethical standpoint, the best thing you can do as a brand is to accept the fact that user behavior is switching from a Google search top 10 blue links methodology to a I ask a question, I get an answer directly through an LLM. And if you understand that's where user behavior is going, you can look at kind of the way that uh, horses became a thing of the past in lieu of cars, right? There was no way to avoid it. It was going to happen no matter what. And unfortunately, I think that the brands or the people who have built blogs, mommy blogs, nature blogs, all this good stuff, and have gotten used to the affiliate income and the clicks that they've gotten, they're going to have to evolve and kind of adapt if they want to survive. But I don't think um, that method of affiliate advertising and click arbitrage is going to be a thing for very much longer. It's going to be a lot more about what's the LLM say and how do you influence it to understand your brand better than the competition.
Very well said, Mr. Rush. But before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my Abstract Essay is already in sixth season, Abstract Power 3 in third season, and my Book 101 review in sixth season too, Comedy 101 in third season, and my Food 101 in sixth season as well, Geography 101 Love Letters, Movie 101 review, Music 101 our fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in its fourth season, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, my Bible Verses 101 are my baby podcasts. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Ross, finally, for all the change, what is the one timeless principle of high quality content creation that becomes more important than ever at the age of generative AI?
Great question. Understand the customer better than your competition. That's all it comes down to. If you speak to your customer like they're a person in the room with you, and like it's your only job in the world to solve the problems they have, then your content will flow off of that, not only be accurate and fact dense, but they'll also be specific to the ideal person you'd want to have, um, you know, transacting within your business.
Indeed. And Mr. Ross, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you want to promote on Abstract Essay?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Yeah, so where do people can reach you?
Yes, to reach me at my personal site, just go to rusheb.com. Happy to chat with anyone and everything. Just shoot me a link. Again, I have spent very little time actually building out my own digital presence. That's part of this process right here. So I've got it very, very simple. You just go there, drop in a message you'd like to send my way, or schedule a call with me. And if you want to engage with my business, it's banditmediagroup.com. Again, that's banditmediagroup.com. And again, always happy to help, always happy to chat, no strings attached.
Yes, definitely. I'm inviting you to be part of my Entrepreneurship 101. And then let's talk about entrepreneurship mindset, Mr. Ross. So I have one more question. What is the biggest myth or misconception about GEO that you're already seeing, and what is the truth behind it?
The biggest myth that there is and there are shortcuts There are no shortcuts. The only thing you can do is set up your brand the exact right way that it needs to be set up to actually meet a customer where it's at, and then follow suit with every technical, content related, and PR function that supports it. But yeah, there are no shortcuts.
No shortcut, people. No shortcut at all. So, if you have name three non-negotiable pillars for a GEO strategy in 2026, what would it be?
For the three pillars, it's going to be understand your brand and the pain point you solve. Follow that with content that directly connects to the consumer you're trying to have purchase on your site. And then thirdly, do not skip out on Reddit and everywhere else that you are cited online. You need to optimize every aspect of your brand, whether it's on site, off site, LinkedIn, Reddit, Instagram. It's all about optimizing your brand as a whole as you appear on the internet, and not just your website.
Yes, and my last question, but not the least, what does a geo-minded content brief look like for a writer today?
Very, very fact dense. Don't get wordy with it. Don't talk as if this is a, don't get into the poetic component. Just write things as they are. Make sure that you're comparing your product against other products. So it's very, very clear where you stand out. And from there, again, just stay fact dense and practical.
Well, Mr. Rush Eby, looking forward for more episodes. Please do come over to all my podcasts and let's talk about GEO. So thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Daniel.
Modicon people, see you soon.